Ethan never expected his life to collapse on a night that began so beautifully. He had just finished cooking dinner, her favorite, creamy garlic pasta with grilled chicken, something he made only on special nights. The apartment smelled warm, comforting, safe. Exactly how a home should feel. Lena walked in late, her hair slightly messy, cheeks flushed, breath uneven. But Ethan didn't question it. He was used to her rushing from work, exhausted and stressed. She kissed his cheek without really kissing him. A quick, distracted brush. Something that felt more like a habit than affection. But Ethan ignored the knot in his stomach. He told himself, "She's tired. I need to stop overthinking." They sat together, but she barely touched her food. She checked her phone again. And again. And again. Every notification made her flinch. Every vibration made her hide her screen just a little too quickly. Still, Ethan stayed quiet. Because sometimes love isn't blind. It's willfully, painfully patient. The next morning, Lena left early. No kiss. No goodbye. Not even a soft, "See you tonight." Just the sound of keys, the creak of the door, then silence. Ethan sat on the edge of the bed staring at the space she used to fill. Her pillow untouched. Her side cold. He noticed these things now. He noticed how she'd started turning away when she slept. How she angled her phone away when texting. How her late nights became team projects and urgent deadlines. But the part that hurt the most was how he had stopped questioning it. Because he was scared of the answer. At lunchtime, he sent her a simple text. "Thinking about you. Hope your day isn't too stressful, heart." She replied 3 hours later. "Busy. Talk later." 2 words missing. "Love you." He felt them missing like missing ribs. Like something that used to hold him together was simply gone. That night, Ethan decided to surprise her with dessert from the bakery she loved. He wanted to bring back even a tiny piece of the warmth they once had. He walked into the office lobby right as Lena was stepping outside. Laughing. Not just laughing. Laughing with her whole face. The kind of joy she hadn't shown around him in months. The man next to her stood a little too close. Leaned a little too confidently. Looked at her like he knew her better than he should. Lena froze when she saw Ethan standing there holding a pastry box. Her smile vanished. Completely. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" He swallowed. I just wanted to bring you something sweet." The man gently touched her arm. Lena flinched. Not from the touch. But from being caught. Ethan's heart dropped into a cold, heavy pit he didn't know was even inside him. Lena stepped aside with Ethan, her voice low and sharp. "You shouldn't just show up like this." He blinked. "Lena, who was that?" She rolled her eyes. "A coworker. Don't make everything weird." But Ethan had seen the way she looked at the man. Not with fear. Not with discomfort. With the kind of softness she once had only for Ethan. He tried to speak, but she cut him off. "Look, I'm under a lot of pressure. I need space. You suffocate me sometimes." The words hit him like claws. Not because they were true. But because they were calculated. A deflection. A distraction. A defensive wall to hide what she didn't want to explain. He whispered. "Lena, I'm just trying to love you." She didn't even blink. Well, maybe that's the problem. That sentence shattered something inside him so loudly. He swore the night air could hear it. Ethan returned home feeling like he was made of glass cracks. Still standing, but barely. At midnight, Lena texted him. "Staying at the office. Don't wait up." He stared at the message for a long time. Then something inside him. Not anger, not fear, but instinct. made him pick up her tablet that she had forgotten on the couch. It wasn't locked. A notification appeared at that exact moment. A message from a name he didn't recognize. But the preview text said everything. "I miss you already. Tonight was perfect." Ethan didn't breathe. Didn't blink. Didn't move. He tapped the message thread with shaking fingers. And what he saw wasn't flirting. Wasn't emotional cheating. Wasn't, almost. It was betrayal in its rawest form. Full conversations. Plans. Pictures. Words she had once said only to him. Now given to someone else like they meant nothing. Ethan felt something inside him collapse. Not anger. Not even heartbreak. A deeper pain. The kind that rewrites who you are. The next morning, Lena acted like nothing happened. She walked into the kitchen wearing the same cold indifference, sipping coffee, scrolling her phone, pretending the world was fine. Ethan just stood there, holding the cup she used every morning. It suddenly felt heavy in his hands. He wanted to ask. He wanted to scream. But what's the point of screaming into a void that already made up its mind? "Did you sleep okay?" she asked, without even looking at him. He forced a smile. "Yeah, you." She nodded. "MMHMM." That was it. 2 syllables. 2 people standing in a kitchen that used to be a home, now just a room filled with ghosts. When she left, the silence stayed behind. Like smoke after a fire. And Ethan realized something he never wanted to admit. Sometimes the worst kind of breakup happens before anyone leaves. Ethan sat in the dark, scrolling through her messages. Every text, every emoji, every "can't wait to see you" felt like a stab. But what broke him was how easily she lied. She had written to the other man at the exact same time she texted Ethan. "Busy at work, babe. I'll call you later." Ethan could see both threads, one honest, one fake, side by side. Like parallel worlds where he was the fool and someone else was the prize. He didn't throw the tablet. He didn't scream. He just stared at the screen until the words blurred. And for the first time in his life, he felt completely invisible. Like a background character in his own story. That night, he didn't sleep. He sat on the floor by the bed they once shared. And whispered into the darkness. "Why wasn't I enough?" No one answered. The next day, Ethan did something he hadn't done in months. He looked at himself in the mirror, really looked. His reflection wasn't the same man who used to laugh easily, love deeply, forgive quickly. He saw someone broken. But also someone starting to wake up. He grabbed his jacket, keys, and her tablet, and drove straight to her office. The receptionist smiled politely. "Can I help you?" He nodded. "Yeah. Tell Lena I'm here." She forgot something. When Lena came down, her face went pale. "Ethan, what are you doing?" He handed her the tablet. "She forgot this. Might want to delete your messages before your next meeting." Her lips parted. But no words came out. He turned to leave, but she grabbed his arm. "Ethan, wait." He looked at her hand, then at her face. And for the first time, she saw no love left in his eyes. Just quiet, exhausted truth. That night, she came home crying. Not because she felt guilty. Because she got caught. "Ethan, please. It didn't mean anything. I was lonely, and you were always so distant." He laughed. Not a bitter laugh. A hollow, numb one. "Lena, you cheated because you wanted to. Don't rewrite the story."
If this story hits you, you can support the channel with a quick hype.
Tears streamed down her face. But Ethan didn't reach for her this time. "You know what hurts the most," he said quietly. "That you didn't even hesitate. She sobbed. "Please, Ethan. We can fix this." He shook his head slowly. "You can't fix something that died months ago." And then he walked out, leaving her standing in the doorway, clutching her chest as if her heart was only now starting to break. Ethan woke up on his friend's couch, sunlight crawling across the floor. He hadn't cried. Not once. He was beyond that. He made coffee. No sugar. No milk. Just bitter, the way he felt inside. He opened his phone and saw dozens of unread messages from Lena. Each one a different emotion. Anger, sadness, pleading, guilt. He didn't respond. Instead, he opened a new note and started typing. Not to her, but to himself. Sometimes the person you love most is the lesson you needed most. And sometimes closure isn't an ending. It's the moment you finally stop hoping they'll change. He closed the note, took a deep breath, and for the first time in months, he felt light. But the story wasn't over yet. Because closure is never clean. And ghosts have a way of knocking when you least expect them. 2 days passed. 2 days of silence. 2 days of Ethan learning how to breathe without feeling like he was inhaling broken glass. Then, bang, bang, bang. A desperate knock shook the door of his friend's apartment. Ethan froze. He didn't need to open it to know who was standing there. "Ethan, please," Lena's voice cracked behind the wood. "I just want to talk. Please." He leaned his forehead against the door. For a moment, he almost opened it. Old habits almost won. But then he remembered the tablet. The messages. The lies spoken with the same mouth now begging for forgiveness. He stepped back. "Go home, Lena." Silence. Then a trembling whisper. "I miss you." Ethan closed his eyes. Her words didn't feel warm anymore. They felt like poison dipped in honey. Later that night, Ethan's phone lit up again. One message from Lena. Long, emotional, chaotic. But then, another message came in. From an unknown number. At first, he ignored it. But curiosity pulled him in. "You don't know me, but I think you should see this." Attached were screenshots. New ones. Ones he hadn't seen before. Messages Lena had sent to the other man after Ethan left the house. "He's overreacting. He'll come back. He always does. I just need a few days." Ethan felt something inside him snap. Not from sadness, but from realization. She didn't miss him. She missed control. She didn't want him back. She wanted the certainty that he'd never leave. And now he finally had the truth. Lena wasn't crying because she lost him. She was crying because he stopped being her safety net. Ethan sat outside on the apartment balcony, staring at the city lights. Cold air brushed against his face, but for the first time in months, he felt awake. His phone buzzed again. More messages from Lena. He didn't open any of them. Instead, he typed out one final text. "I'm done trying to love someone who didn't love me enough to stay loyal." He hit send. Not with anger. With peace. He didn't owe her another explanation. He didn't owe her another chance. He didn't owe her another piece of himself. He put his phone down. Took a deep breath. Tonight wasn't about her. It was about him finally standing up from the ashes. The next morning, Ethan decided to return to the house one final time to collect the rest of his things. When he walked in, he found Lena sitting on the living room floor, surrounded by old photos, their vacations, anniversaries, birthdays. Her mascara was smudged. Eyes swollen. Breathing shaky. "Ethan, I'm sorry," she whispered. "I messed up. I ruined everything. Please, don't go." He looked at the photos. The memories. The lies behind them. "Lena, I believe you're sorry," he said. "But being sorry doesn't erase what you chose to do." She crawled toward him, reaching for his hand. "Just give me one more chance. I'll prove it. I'll fight for us." He stepped back. And Lena finally saw it. The empty space where love used to be. Ethan packed the last box in silence. Lena stood behind him, trembling, her whole world falling apart. When he reached the doorway, she whispered, "Ethan, please. Don't leave me. I don't know how to live without you." He turned around. His voice calm, steady, and final. "Lena, you should have thought about that before you gave someone else the part of you that was supposed to be mine." A single tear slid down her cheek. "Goodbye, Lena." He walked out. Down the steps. Across the street. Toward a future that finally felt real. Even if it was terrifying. Behind him, the door closed softly. No slam. No drama. Just the quiet sound of a chapter ending. But little did Ethan know. Fate wasn't finished with him yet. Closure has echoes. And sometimes ghosts return one last time. 3 nights later. Ethan was finally starting to feel a bit stable. Not happy. Not even close, but at least breathing didn't hurt as much. Then around 11:47 p.m. Ding. A notification from a social media app he rarely opened. A tagged post. Curious, he tapped it. And his stomach dropped. It was Lena. A photo of her crying in their old bedroom, writing a long caption playing the victim. "I gave him everything. And he walked away. I made one mistake. And he abandoned me. I hope he realizes what he lost." Comments were already pouring in. "Men are heartless. He doesn't deserve you. You can do better." Ethan felt the familiar heat of betrayal crawl up his chest again. Not because she was hurt. But because she was lying to everyone. The same way she had lied to him. He wasn't angry. He was disappointed. Deeply, painfully disappointed that even now, she still couldn't tell the truth. His phone rang. Lena. Again. He ignored the first call. Ignored the second. But the third. Something inside him said, "Answer it. End this." He picked up. Her voice was soft, shaking, emotionally charged. "Ethan, why are you doing this to me?" He laughed under his breath, a sad, exhausted laugh. "Lena, I'm not doing anything to you. You're living the consequences of your own choices." She sobbed. "I miss you. I need you. Please don't leave me like this." Ethan closed his eyes. "Lena, you didn't need me when you were messaging him at 2 a.m. You didn't miss me when you invited him over. You didn't think about us when you lied to my face." Silence. A deep, suffocating silence. Lena whispered, "I didn't want to lose you. Then you shouldn't have gambled with me." 2 days later, they met one last time at a small cafe, neutral ground. Lena looked tired, fragile, almost unrecognizable from the confident woman Ethan once loved. "Ethan, I just want closure," she said quietly. "You got it," he replied. She reached into her purse and placed a small envelope on the table. "What's this?" "My letter to you." He hesitated but opened it. Inside was a handwritten apology. Raw, emotional, filled with everything she should have said months ago. It hurt to read. Not because he wanted her back. But because it reminded him of the version of her he thought he was in love with. When he finished, he folded the paper and slid it back. "Thank you," he said. "For the apology. For the honesty. For finally telling the truth." He stood up. "But this doesn't change anything." Lena grabbed his wrist. "Is this really it?" "It has to be." And for the first time. She didn't fight it. Ethan walked out of the cafe and felt something he hadn't felt in months. Closure. Real, undeniable closure. He took a deep breath of cold evening air. Cars passed. People laughed nearby. The world kept moving. And finally, he felt like he could move with it. He wasn't healed. Not yet. But he was free. Free from begging for love. Free from being an option. Free from the half-truths and empty promises. And somewhere deep inside, a small flame lit up. Hope. That night, sitting alone on the balcony, Ethan thought about everything he went through. The betrayal. The pain. The nights he felt like breaking apart. And he realized something. Lena didn't destroy him. She revealed him. She showed him how strong he really was. How much love he had to give. And how much he deserved in return. He whispered into the quiet night. One day, someone will love me the way I loved her. Not perfectly. But honestly. Completely. Loyally. He looked up at the sky, eyes soft. The story didn't end with heartbreak. It ended with rebirth. And Ethan finally understood. Some endings are just disguised beginnings.
If you've ever felt this kind of pain, don't walk through it alone. Hit subscribe and stay with us. More real stories are coming.